Oh my gosh.
Now there's good things to talk about.
I am looking through. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, let's start at some little things. The Trump administration has ordered all federal employees in DE offices to be placed on paid leave and shut DEI down. Gosh darn it. The Office of Personnel Management, the government's top human resources agency, notified all federal department heads in a memo. DEI programs must be notified by 5 p.m. today. Their administrative leave is effective immediately. Also, all outward-facing media, such as web pages and social media accounts focused on DEI programs, all gone by 5 p.m. today. Cancel all employee diversity trainings. Terminate any DEI-related contracts by 5 p.m. today. Also, OPM, listen to this. They are asking all agency heads to ask employees if they know of any efforts to disguise DEI programs with coded or imprecise language and report their findings back by January 31st. And any employee caught trying to skirt this, they will have, quote, adverse consequences. I would like it just to be, no, you're going to be fired. But I guess adverse consequences could mean more than fired.
I like this too, because this is the Thomas Sowell book, Thinking Beyond Stage One.
Yes.
That's what you have going on here. They know what they're going to try with DEI. They're going to try to change the language. They're going to try to hide it with imprecise things. They're going to do all that. They're already looking for what the response will be to all this, which is really, really positive.
If anyone doesn't think Donald Trump was prepared, look at just this week.
You've never seen anything like this.
I've never
from any
seen
president, right?
No.
But whether you like it or not, you have to admit he's coming in here with a real plan and attempting to execute it quickly, in an overwhelming way. I tend to like a lot of the stuff he's doing, but even if you look at this, because we've looked at this from the other side with a sort of like admiration in a way, right? An annoyed admiration of what the left has done. They've built things. They prepared for moments. They
this
had
is the first
things
time
ready
in my
to
life
go.
they've done.
That's what this feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. I will tell you that I was talking to somebody who was in on the planning yesterday. And they said that President Trump made a list of every campaign promise that he made. He asked for everybody, remember what I said, put it on a list. He made the list too. And he is really checking it twice and marking them off. When they do them, he is determined to keep every campaign promise. So you want to know, left, what he's going to do? Take him at his word.
And to be clear, they attempted to do this. Steve Bannon did the same thing in the first administration.
Yes.
He came in with a big list. He had it. It's been well covered. They just didn't get a lot of it done. They didn't know what they were doing. I mean, Bannon.
This time they do.
They know now.
This time they do. According to the Blaze today, the new chairman of the FCC, who I love, Chairman Brendan Carr, has announced the end of all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at the FCC. He said he was erasing DEI as a priority of the commission's strategic plan. He said he would end DEI advisory group at the FCC and any mention of DEI in the commission's budget. Also, DEI will be excised from the performance reports at the FCC as well as all economic plans. Amen. Now, let's go to Trump ending affirmative action for federal contractors and universities. He's just signed an executive order rescinding Lyndon Johnson's executive order of 11246, which established affirmative action and bans all federal contractors and publicly funded universities from practicing race-based discrimination, including DEI. This is a massive shift that came under Lyndon Johnson. These guys, thank God, they are going for the roots of these problems. This is not somebody that is just, cutting the hedges. These guys are going down into the soil and pulling it up by its roots. The Coast Guard, as soon as he took his oath of office, Just within hours, the head of the Coast Guard was relieved of command. The commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Linda Fagan, apparently, Department of Homeland Security first reported her ouster a minute after midnight on Tuesday. She was fired and told she was going to be fired right after he was sworn in. Leftist outlets and everybody else is like, oh, you can't do that. She's the first female leader of the military service. Yeah, and she sucked. Okay, she sucked. She didn't address any of the threats of border security. She didn't hit any of her recruitment or retention goals. She did not adequately equipped the Coast Guard stations in the Arctic. Why do you think we're going for Greenland? Because China and Russia are coming over the pole into the Arctic, and she didn't protect that. She also mishandled the Operation Fouled Anchor, which was an investigation into the cover-up of sexual misconduct at the Coast Guard Academy, and excessive focus on DEI. She said, one of her famous quotes, something like, our diversity is our strength. Our diversity only makes us stronger. Does it? Does it? Or does our unity make us stronger? We can be diverse, but not in everything. Not in everything. Like to be diverse in thought, but not on principles. What do you think? And I don't care about your skin color. Nobody does. Stop it. Now let's see. What else? Republicans. I love this. Chip Roy. Thank you. Is making a move to repeal the FACE Act. He said, and Mike Lee is about to introduce it in the Senate. It's got to get past the House, and then he'll pick it up in the Senate. Their case is you don't need the FACE Act. There is no constitutional right to abortion. So what constitutional right are they enforcing? None. You don't have that right. So and you certainly have the right of speaking your mind, gathering and protesting, as long as it's lawful and you're not, doing anything breaking the law and harassing people. But you certainly can gather, and so they now want to take the FACE Act and get rid of it. Do you know what that would mean? You know how great that is, and it's happening through Congress and the Senate. So they're hitting on all fronts so far. The Trump administration told all of the State Department through Marco Rubio, all of the State Department, every embassy, you are no longer allowed to fly the LGBT pride or BLM flags at the embassies. You can fly the POW flag, but that's it. It's the flag of the United States of America, and that's the only other flag you're allowed to fly is POW. I think that's fantastic. I mean, we're in countries now where they do not want to hear the preaching from the United States of America, especially in places like Africa. They don't want to hear that.
It's common sense. It's not, even if you completely support every one of those causes, why on earth would we be hanging the flag of them in our foreign embassies?
Right.
It makes no sense. It's an American political issue. What does that have to do with this?
So Marco Rubio issued the statement, starting immediately, only the United States of America flag is authorized to be flown or displayed at U.S. facilities, both domestic and abroad, and featured in U.S. government content. So in other words, you can't put any of those markings now on any of our websites. The flag of the United States of America united all Americans under the universal principle of justice, liberty, and democracy. These values are the bedrock of our great country and are shared by all American citizens, past and present. The U.S. flag is a powerful symbol of pride, and it is fitting and respectful that only the U.S. flag be flown or displayed at U.S. facilities, both domestically and abroad. Anyone who transgresses this new policy will face disciplinary action, including termination of employment, contract, or reassignment to their home agency. Now, this stands in, Blinken said that for May and June, the rainbow flag had to be flown at all US embassies all around the world for Pride Month.
Wait, May and June?
Yeah, May. He announced this on May 17th, which is the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia. And so
Of course it is, obviously, Glenn. We all know.
Yeah,
December
I know.
25th and May 17th.
Yeah.
We know the big holidays.
Right. And so they have that May 17th. And he's like, just put it up on May 17th and then just don't take it down until the end of June. So now you get a month and a half. Month and a half. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's not going to happen anymore. Let me show you how deep this is going. Donald Trump, remember, is a real estate guy. He's also a builder. And somebody in this administration understands Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson said, if you want your society and your civilization to live on, you must embed its values in its architecture. Okay? Well, ugly, brutalist, and Soviet-style architecture is everywhere. If you've gone to Washington, D.C., there's some beautiful architecture, and then there's all that ugly new architecture that just means nothing. It's just brutalist. Donald Trump has just issued another executive order on his first day, asking the heads of departments to provide recommendations on how to advance the cause of an architectural renaissance in America that would see all the federal buildings prioritize beauty over anti-traditional hang-ups or egos of radicals. Toward the end of his first term, he issued an executive order mandating that new federal buildings should not only be designed to serve the American people, but should be designed to uplift and beautify public spaces, inspire the human spirit, ennoble the United States, command respect from the general public, and, as appropriate, respect the architectural heritage of the regions of the United States. Joe Biden immediately canceled that. I mean, you know, we are having architect fights now. And so they have now taken, you know, the design. The J. Edgar Hoover building is a really good example of this, just ugly and meaningless. And so they rescinded Trump's order and they started to put into place all of these, you know, new plans for new buildings. And Trump just stopped that and said, sorry, we are not going to build ugly buildings anymore. They mean nothing and they're Soviet in style. It's not happening. That's how deep this is going. That's how well thought out this is.
That's something that's been important to him for a long time.
Oh,
because he does like a little bit of that ceremony, right? He's talked about big parades, this festival coming up or whatever it is, celebration of our in 2026 is a big one that he's talking about. You know, this has been important to him for a while, and again, like it's a great illustration of how well this stuff has been thought out.
It should be important to all of us. You know, I lived through the bicentennial. I remember it.
Yeah,
okay? That bicentennial stuff. It was out by, 1972. We knew the logo. You remember that red, white, and blue star logo, that rounded star logo? I don't know if you're old enough to remember it.
I was born I'm a bicentennial baby, Glenn.
Oh, okay.
That's
so
you don't remember. My mom used to tell
me.
But
it was out. Congratulations. That's icky. Let's talk about your mom creating you. But
that's when I was born, not conceived, weirdo.
Well, anyway,
but you didn't tell me. Hey, by the way, it was a wonderful night. Let me tell you all about it. That wasn't part of the analysis.
I got to tell you, sometimes when the kids get really out of control, I start down that road. They shut up really quickly.
I bet they do.
They shut up really quickly and run. But we had, by 1972, we were talking about the bicentennial, and it was a big buildup. Here we are, 18 months away. Not even that. We're 15 months away from the 250th birthday. There's no logo. There's nothing. There's a lot of plans out there, but we haven't even started that. He believes in not being embarrassed by the United States. We talked about this yesterday with renaming Mount McKinley again. Exactly. He is the exact opposite of Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama said, and Barack knows, we're going to have to change our our traditions,
history.
our history. Do you have it? Go ahead, play that again.
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation. We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
He knows that, and he is systematically dismantling it. I'm telling you, this guy, if they can keep this going and withstand the stupid attacks from the left and the media that is coming, he's going to be remembered as an Abraham Lincoln. He is going to be a refounder of this country. And I, for one, am thrilled.